Oh, it's always the small shit. Hey friends, welcome back. So today I'm at a brand new skate park that opened in Denver, Colorado. It's called the Barnum Skatepark. Opened a couple weeks ago. Let's go ahead and get laced up and get to it. Let's go ahead and get some warm-ups on this little ledge. That little ledge is so low and short, I can't go very fast into it because otherwise I'll just overshoot the whole ledge. Let's go ahead and get warmed up on some coping. Oh man, that coping is so fast. Feels so good. Let's maybe go ahead and try and get a Royale on this fatty bar to drop. All right, less of a Royale, more of a UFO. I'll take it. Let's move on to this kinked ledge. All right, let's get a Royale on this big ledge. The one thing that I changed out after my first session was when I went to rotate my wheels, I realized I had cored a couple of the Dream wheels, which isn't surprising because that's pretty common for me with a clear core. So I swapped them out with the new Plastiks Gates wheels. And then I've ridden on these for about 4 sessions now. All right, let's get a couple top sides on this rail. All right, well, that main park was getting almost too busy to get a run in, but here's a nice little treat, some waxed concrete ledges. All right, so that's all uphill to these ledges, so I'll probably just hit this last one. All right, so if you watch the faction video that I put out a little over a week ago, you'll know that I took a couple hard spills at the very end of the video, and I've been pretty roughed up for the last week, but I've gotten in 4 extra sessions on them before today, just kind of skating around on them, and what I wanted to talk about is what I changed. So with the boot, I didn't really change anything. I know some people added 45 straps. I'll talk about that in a second. So what I did is I have some King Foam 3mm basically shock absorbing insoles, and I put those in because what I felt was with the liner that it was just a little thin for my foot shape inside the shell. And I know I'm not alone on that because a lot of other people have mentioned their foot kind of moving around inside the liner, but I didn't want to jump to putting on a 45 strap until I knew how much the liner was going to break in. I hope that makes sense, because if it's already a little thin, my foot's moving around, I have a feeling that I'm going to end up changing out the liner. So I didn't want to make any mods to the boot, you know, because of that. So, you know, what I found in my like second session was that when I would tighten up the laces, because the liner was starting to break in, it was actually causing my arches to ache, which means I was over tightening the shell. So, you know, instead of using the laces to try and close up the space in the shell, I basically just added this insole under the liner, you know, just like this inside the skate. And that did a pretty good job of closing up some of the space. My foot does float just a little, or not my foot floating in the liner, but I do feel the liner has, you know, maybe a little space inside the shell. So I think over time, the liner's gonna pack in and it's gonna get a lot looser on my foot. And just, if you've ever watched my videos, you'll know that I've got a fairly flat foot and it's on the brink of being considered wide. So it's about 4 inches wide. Width of the skates is great. It's just having to fill that, you know, up-down volume. So basically the height. All right, well, that's a wrap for today. That was a fun little park. I was definitely not trying to beat myself up just because, you know, how my first session went about a week ago. But yeah, that was a fun park and a lot of really cool stuff there. Just gets really busy really early. You know, like in the factions, they still remind me of, you know, the old school rims from like back in the early 2000s, which love the feeling. Liner, you know, does feel like it's starting to loosen up a little. Keep a pulse on it. I'll keep you guys updated if I make any changes. Thanks all for checking in. We'll catch you next time.